To get things started, please help me welcome the Smithereens. So we are here in the Vogel. We are inside the Arts and Education building. There are classrooms on the other side of these walls. These are places for students to find their voices, to follow their passion, and discover the life-changing power of the arts. And we know how important that education and experience is, and so do the Smithereens. And tonight, we are proud to announce the recipients of the Pat D'Inizio Musical Performance Scholarship. And here to tell us more about this, yes, right? Thank you. And here to tell us more about this is our Scholarships Programs Manager, Natalie Hayes Scott.
Thank you, Adam. This scholarship was established in 2018, not long after Pat D'Inizio passed away. Since then, we have had 17 recipients. These are students who are enrolled in classes here at the Basie Center Turner Academy of the Arts and any other affiliated music program. Tonight, we are happy to announce this year's recipients of the Pat D'Inizio Musical Performance Scholarship, and they are Paloma Donahue and Chloe Schneider. Paloma is a student at Red Bank Regional High School who studies piano at the Count Basie Center's Conservatory of Music. In addition to playing recitals, she is applying to colleges where she plans to study medical research. And Chloe attends Marlboro High School and loves to perform on stage. She is a musical theater student who will be performing in our upcoming spring student production of Frozen. So one more time, please join me in congratulating Paloma and Chloe.
All right, we got a little bit more for you. Well, thank you, Natalie. Congratulations again to the scholarship recipients. So when you walked in this evening, folks, you may have noticed the red carpet around one of the stones on our Walk of Fame. Yes! Well, the Basie Center Walk of Fame honors artists who have performed at our historic venue, have made an indelible impact on culture, and whose contributions reflect the enduring power of the arts. And tonight, we add our good friends, the Smithereens, to the Walk of Fame. Right? And here to get things started, the mayor of Red Bank, Billy Portman.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Red Bank. The Count Basie Center for the Arts brings a great sense of pride to this community, and I am happy to be here as we induct a band that I love onto the Walk of Fame. 1989 was a big year for us. I met my wife, and a girl like you was just blasting out the radio anytime I turned it on. So, and we're still going strong. The marriage, I mean, and the band. So as you leave the building this evening, or whenever you spend time in our great downtown, I hope you'll take a minute to look at the names on the stones. After tonight, there will be 4 inductees, and think about how fortunate we are to have a venue like the Count Basie right here in Red Bank. So, and congratulations to tonight's scholarship recipients. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce the host of the long-running Anything radio program. Welcome, Rich Russo.
Yeah, Rick.
Thank you. Rich Russo, as they said, and they call me the Jersey guy on the Sirius show that I had. That's the Jersey guy does Jersey, and it's my honor to welcome New Jersey's Fab Four, the Smithereens, to the Count Basie Center's Walk of Fame. One of the great honors in my radio career was when the Smithereens came and hung out on my show, Anything. They played a few songs live. We had a nice spirited and fun interview. But when I think of the Smithereens in this building, or the building next door here in Red Bank, I first think of their set at the Alliance of Neighbors concert right after 9/11, which was a vital healing moment after the tragedy that hit this area especially hard. I also think of the memorial concert that was here shortly after Pat's passing, where an all-star lineup performed Smithereens songs backed by Dennis on drums, Jimmy on guitar, and both Mike and the Thriller on bass. The event was the establishment of the Pat Denizio Musical Performance Scholarship here at the Basie. My first exposure to the Smithereens wasn't Blood and Roses or Behind the Walls Sleep, when their debut album Exploded was all over the airwaves, all over MTV in 1986 when I was in college. My first exposure to this band was 5 years earlier when I was a teenager. And it's one of those moments that have left a lasting impression on me. My father would always take me record shopping, and we'd go to different areas throughout New Jersey. This was back pretty much when every town had their own record store. And by the way, we are very fortunate that Red Bank still has a record store. Jack's around the corner. It's weathered the ups and downs of the music industry. It's still there. I actually bought a bunch of records before this. Make sure you go visit Jack's. But one of the towns that we'd go visit when we go record shopping when I was a kid was New Brunswick, and which didn't have one record store. It had a bunch of record stores. There was a store called Cheap Thrills. That was like the bigger store. Then there was this converted diner on French Street that was floor-to-ceiling records called All Ears. It was owned by this really insane guy named Charlie. I think he ended up in prison. There was also a place called the Varsity, and there was this place that I later that was called the Head Shop, and it was run by this cool cat named Doyle, who, besides records, which weren't available, you had to ask him for the records. He'd bring out like a box of bootlegs and tapes that he had stolen from CBS television. It was just a wild, wild place. And then there was this place called Flamin' Groovies. It was owned by a guy named Jimmy, and it had a great selection of cool records, import 45s. I remember buying import 45s by The Clash and Springsteen and some of the obscure and great punk and power pop stuff, as well as, Beatles, Stones, Kinks, and everything else. I remember having a stack of 45s, and the guy behind the counter was very, very excited about the records that this teenager was buying. And he would tell a little story about each band or each record or each song as he rang them up. And then he pulled a record from behind the counter and he put it on top of the stack. And he said, "Kid, this one's on me. I hope you'll like it. It is this exact record.
Yes.
Girls About Town by the Smithereens on the when they first pressed this." And to think that 45 years later, that teenager would be up here inducting that band with a lead singer named Pat, who was from Scotch Plains, which is a few towns over from where I grew up in Union County, a super cool bass player named Mark, and not only one of the greatest drummers ever to come out of New Jersey, but also a guy who's done freeform radio like myself named Dennis, and a White Castle-loving former record store owner playing guitar who was named Jimmy, who all those years ago gave this kid that 45. Please welcome to the Count Basie's Walk of Fame, the Smithereens.
Thank you, Rich. That was awesome. And now it's my honor to officially induct the Smithereens onto the Count Basie Center's Walk of Fame. Take a look, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, the Smithereens.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. This is really an honor and so wonderful being Jersey guys ourselves. I can't believe I gave that record to him. You know what that's worth? So anyway, this is such a great day for us. Thank you all for coming.
Anybody here from Carteret? Oh, well. This is really low. I know I speak for Jimmy. We feel very fortunate to have grown up in a town and gone to schools with groups of creative, curious, funny, fun-loving, intelligent kids. We all fed off each other's energy, and one of those kids was Mike Mazaris, our bass player. I met in 3rd grade. And although that was at A. Lincoln School, and Jimmy went to Nathan Hale School, he lived on on the other side of the school dividing line, whatever you call it, different school zone. But he knew him from St. Elizabeth Church, so we all had a connection going back to grammar school. And you studied accordion with Mike, or the same teacher, right? Yeah. And so we grew up just wanting to do this, and because of all of you and our fans supporting us for what will be 46 years in March. It's because of you that we're able to continue to do this, that we've done it all these years and we continue to do it. We couldn't do it without you. So we thank you from the bottom of our hearts for that. And I just want to add that I'll accept any honor in the name of the great Count Basie.
That's right.
Blues and Haas Flat, one of my favorite tracks of all time. Thanks again to all of you, and we look forward to you walking all over us out on the sidewalks. I also want to, of course, acknowledge Pat Denizio, who we all miss very much, and he would be so pleased to see this scholarship, and we wish these fine artists a bright future. Speaking with them backstage, they have the passion that we had when we were kids, and I know that's going to carry them through, and they have a great future, so we're paying it forward, as they say. So thanks so much. See you in a few minutes.